Severe weather could strike Norman again. We'll keep you updated with our live team coverage. A new development in the Julius Jones case, and breaking news, the FDA has approved a vaccine for children. Find out which one. This is OU Nightly. Thanks for joining us for OU Nightly. I'm Kayla Davis.
And I'm Tingelstad. We begin with the chance for more severe storms tonight.
Mikayla Smith is keeping an eye on things in the Weather Center. Mikayla?
Yeah, so look at this crazy stat that we have here. So October of 2021, we've seen 28 tornadoes. Now the average around this time of year is 2, but from January to September this year, we've only seen 25 tornadoes. So for the entire year up until now, we've seen more tornadoes just in this month than we have for the whole year. And we could even be adding to that list later on tonight. We have current temperatures. We're in the 80s out to the west, so that's some fuel for some severe weather later on tonight. We can see we are under an enhanced risk, Oklahoma City, Norman out to the west. That's a 3 out of 5 risk. And those main threats with these storms, the tornado potential is low. Our main threat is going to be some hail and some very strong winds as these storms form a line later on tonight as it moves through. But we could see some localized flooding in some areas that are prone to flooding. So coming up, I'll tell you what severe weather to expect, when you should be expecting it, and then we have a major cool down coming on at the end of this week into next week. But Hannah's outside currently. She's telling us what those people who have already seen some large hail and some damage could be looking forward to tonight, and what the issue is with all the severe weather we've been seeing week after week at this time of year. Hannah, what can we expect?
Yeah, Mikayla, with severe thunderstorms, we have that tornado threat, but we also have to watch out for that hail threat. We've seen just how damaging that can be on Campus Corner and in North Norman just 2 weeks ago with that damaging hailstorm. That's why it's so important that when you're in a severe thunderstorm warning and especially a tornado warning, you put that safety plan in action. You need to get to the most interior room in your house and stay away from those windows, because we could see wind gusts of up to 85 miles an hour with hailstones up to golf ball size or larger, and that can be extremely damaging. So guys, make sure tonight that you have multiple ways to get severe weather alerts and that you're being very aware of whether or not you're in a watch or a warning, because we just need to be aware of how damaging that threat can be once again this evening. Guys, back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Hannah. There are several ways to make sure you get weather alerts if warnings are issued overnight. The most common weather alert you can receive comes from your phone, but you have to make sure it's on. To check, just open your settings app and click the notifications tab. Then scroll all the way down to the bottom and you should see government alerts. Other alerts include sirens if you are outdoors, as well as weather radios.
Especially with severe weather that will be occurring at night, like we will probably see Tuesday night.
You can also live stream local TV stations on your phone or register for their weather alerts in your area.
New developments in the Julius Jones case as his clemency hearing has been moved. Well, Blessing has been following the story and was at the march held this morning.
Even though the clemency trial for Julius Jones was moved to next week, supporters still gathered for a vigil and a march this morning.
Set Julius free! Set Julius free!
The clemency hearing for Julius Jones was rescheduled to Monday, November 1st at 9 a.m. The hearing was rescheduled in order to allow pending appeals to be resolved before proceeding, according to the Pardon and Parole Board Director Tom Bates. This comes after a federal judge rejected a request yesterday for a stay of execution of 5 death row inmates, one of them Jones.
We will be asking the 10th Circuit to review Judge Fryett's decision and to issue a stay of Mr. Grant's execution, as well as the execution schedule in the coming months.
While the stay of execution was denied, there are still pending appeals, and supporters of Jones are still hopeful the clemency hearing will go in Julius's favor.
We will not be deterred. We proclaim to the governor, we proclaim to the clemency board, we proclaim to the parole board that the power has been taken from you, and we put it back in the people's hands.
We believe that this Pardon and Parole Board and the governor have an incredible opportunity here to right a wrong, and that's really what justice means. We've waited a long time, and Julius has waited the longest.
When you're weak, you're really strong in the Lord, and it's just different doors that have been opened that I didn't even see or know. And it's just awesome. It's beautiful.
Organizers say there is not currently anything else planned before the clemency hearing next Monday. However, they are sure that something will be planned before then. In Oklahoma City, Will Blessing, OU Nightly.
The first execution in Oklahoma in more than 6 years is currently scheduled for Thursday.
Although Julius Jones' clemency hearing was moved to next week, a vigil from supporters was still held. OU Nightly's Belle Trevino was there for the march.
What do we want? Justice for Julius! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Justice for Julius! When do we want it? Now!
Supporting Julius Jones.
Right here! Right now! Right now! Right here! Right here! Right now!
Several people walking the sidewalk sharing their belief of his innocence. From Tabernacle Baptist Church,
No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice!
to Evangelistic Baptist Church and back. People praying and shouting for Jones's freedom. This is the third event this week the Justice for Julius group has hosted so far, along with an art show and worship service. Many praying for God to save the convicted inmate from his execution. Their goal, however, is not for Julius, but for all inmates that may be innocent and on death row.
This is bigger than Julius. We have to be hoping and praying for the best. We also have to be prepared for the worst.
They plan to continue spreading the word by passing out signs and letting the crowd keep them, as well as giving shirts to support the cause.
After a morning of marching, the supporters have their next steps. For now, they're going to continue to pray and continue to send letters to the governor in hopes there will be a change. Belle Trevino, OU Nightly.
Julius Jones was convicted for killing Paul Howell. Howell's family is speaking up in relief over the decision for the court to keep executions as scheduled.
The Congressional Committee is looking into the events on January 6th and is now searching for testimonies from the Trump administration. Kolby Terrell has that story and the rest of today's headlines from around the world.
Thank you, Kayla. At least 5 former Trump staffers spoke with the House committee investigating the January 6th Capitol attack. Lawyers working for the committee have been reaching out to other Trump aides to speak voluntarily without the threat of subpoena. The committee reached out to a range of employees from junior staffers to more senior level aides. News of the outreach comes after Trump sued the committee and the National Archives to stop them from seeing specific documents. And now the Facebook papers may be connected to the January 6th attack. The Securities and Exchange Commission is saying that the company misled the public about its role in spreading misinformation on the attack. These internal Facebook documents also cite that Facebook has known about human traffickers using their platform since 2018. And today, the Undersecretary for Defense revealed that ISIS could be capable of an attack on the U.S. within the next 6 months to a year. Back in September, General Mark Milley said that the terror threat from Afghanistan was lower than it was on September 11, 2001, but that it could change quickly. This revelation comes after the suicide bombings at Kabul airport killed 13 U.S. service members in late August. And Kayla and Kayleigh, Tesla is now worth over $1 trillion, passing ExxonMobil, the largest oil company in the United States. That's it from the News Center. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Kolby. Children are one step closer today to getting their COVID vaccine.
Coming up, we'll tell you about the latest vote and how that might impact children in the future.
Plus, we're still tracking those severe storms.
Stick with us and stay weather aware. Breaking news, the FDA gave the green light for children to get vaccinated. Kaitlyn Deggs joins us in Health Beat with today's latest vote.
Yeah, Kayleigh, an independent FDA vaccine advisory board voted to recommend emergency use authorization of the Pfizer vaccine to children ages 5 to 11. The FDA will take the vote into consideration and decide whether to authorize it. The CDC's independent advisory committee will meet November 2nd and 3rd to vote on recommending the vaccine for this age group. Health directors say getting kids vaccinated could help keep cases down as we head into the winter.
Even as we face the cold weather and other concerns about whether we might see another surge. We don't want that, and this would be one significant step.
CDC Director Michelle Walensky will hold the power to make the final decision. Once Walensky signs off, younger children could start getting shots immediately. We'll keep you updated here on OU Nightly as more develops.
Thanks, Kaitlyn. Oklahoma City could be the new hub for legal services for Mexican Americans.
We'll tell you more about the Mexican government's plans.
And Norman residents are still cleaning up from last week's storms. Mikayla, what can we expect for tonight?
Yeah, we do have a chance for some hail once again tonight, so I'll be keeping you updated and giving that full timeline coming up. Welcome back to OU Nightly. We can take a current look at our OKC skyline cam. We can see there's a few clouds in the sky sitting in those 70s, so that warm up today is not looking good for our severe weather potential later. We can see those winds are coming strong out of the south, 19 in that dew point. So we're pretty humid today, but what's crazy is this time last year we had our ice storm. So we can see some pictures courtesy of Drake Foley. We can see we were having damaged powering lines. We didn't even have school for a couple days because of this crazy ice storm that we had, and that was a year ago today. We can see some more pictures here from Markel Michelson. We can see, so this was last time we were in the 30s, and now we have a crazy warm up, and we're sitting in the 70s today and talking about severe weather. So we can see Oklahoma City, Norman, we are under that enhanced risk. Again, it's a 3 out of 5 risk, and that extends out to the west. So areas that we've been warming up, we've been seeing this risk increase throughout the day. So the threats are going to be the low tornado threat. The main threat's going to be out there to the west, but hail and wind is going to be what we're really going to be dealing with here in Norman, and then some isolated flooding we might see. So those winds currently are coming strong from the south, and with it, it's bringing with a lot of moisture from the Gulf. So we can see those dew points sitting in the 60s, and this is something we normally see around the time of the spring season. So not something we typically see in the fall, but check this out. We can see this dry line. That's what's going to be initiating our storms later on today. So we can see that's what's going to be moving in later on tonight. So that tornado potential we can see again out to the west, that's where the main threat is going to be, where we're going to have supercells come up along that dry line, and as long with tornadoes, we're also going to see the chance of hail. So in this red region we could see up to baseball size hail. The yellow region we could see probably around golf balls and then quarters out there, but as those storms move east, they are going to slowly get a bit weaker. We do have a chance for some significant hail as well out in Woodward, Elk City, and significant hail occurs when we have hail upwards of 2 inches in diameter. So that can do a lot of damage along with some strong winds that can break cars, houses, do just a ton of damage overall. So let's time that out. We can see these storms are going to start to fire up along the dry line at 6 p.m. out to the west, and then they're going to work their way toward the center of the state. Here in Norman, Oklahoma City, we're going to be between that 9 p.m. and 1 a.m. timeline. Our storms will probably be around 11:30 p.m. to 12 a.m. So we'll track those out for now, you can see for the future radar. So that's where they start to fire up, and then they're going to move towards the center of the state. We can see they're going to form a line, and then as they push off to the east, these storms are going to get weaker, and that severe potential is going to go down. And then as those storms move out, we're going to have another round. They're going to wrap back around, winds coming from the north, and we're going to see another round of some just rain and some showers Thursday into the late Thursday afternoon, and then those are going to push off to the east. But we can see those future rainfall totals going to be about 1 inch here in Norman, upwards of 2 inches somewhere out to the east. So with that, it's going to be cooling us down quite a bit. We're going to be in the 50s tonight in Norman, a bit cooler out to the west. And tomorrow, those winds are going to come strong from the north, 68. So we're sitting right around normal for this time of year, maybe a bit hotter down to the south. But check this out. On Thursday, this is a wind forecast. This is not gusts. So we're going to be in the 30s. Those winds could be gusting 45 to 50 miles per hour. So we really want to keep an eye on that. So we have those chances for some severe storms. Then we have sunshine welcoming us back in. And then we're going to have another cold front on Tuesday. That 60 is going to be in the morning. We have a major cold front dropping our temperature by 20 degrees Tuesday later on. We'll keep you updated here at OU Nightly. Ladies, back to you.
Thanks, Mikayla. A Mexican consulate will open in Oklahoma City. Mexico's Ministry of Foreign Relations announced this as part of a plan to improve diplomatic services for their citizens. Mayor David Holt shared the announcement on Twitter, saying, quote, community and elected leaders have advocated in favor of a consulate for years. This new location would provide legal services such as documents like visas and passports to Mexican Americans. Mayor Holt says 106,000 residents of Mexican descent could benefit from this development.
You have now on a population that's over 21% according to the census, which is a significant number of Mexicans. And so you have a opportunity for this to flourish into something big for economic development for us.
As of now, officials have not announced when the consulate will open.
Parker, aren't the Sooners back in town for Halloween weekend?
Yes, ladies, the Sooners have a haunted tech team coming into the Palace this weekend, and a basketball legend made his debut 37 years ago today. Stay tuned, sports is next. Welcome back to OU Nightly. I'm Parker Abels, and it's time for sports. The Sooners are back at home this weekend as they take on the Texas Tech Red Raiders at the Palace Saturday at 2:30. Texas Tech is going to be without a head coach after firing coach Matt Wells, the team announced yesterday. As the Sooners look to win their 9th game of the season, here's what Lincoln Riley had to say about their matchup this weekend.
A little bittersweet, for me personally. I mean, very, tough to hear the news about Matt Wells. He's become a good friend, got to know him a little bit before being in this league, and then certainly throughout the different events in this league. But one of the great guys in coaching, a heck of a ball coach, and no question he's going to get his chance to continue to lead really good programs in the future.
Meanwhile, it's the Sooners' defensive coach who is on the defensive these days. After struggling to keep the Kansas offense off the field Saturday, Caroline Gray says that Alex Grinch feels the fans' frustration.
Tuesday afternoon, and after Oklahoma's worst performance defensively on Saturday, answers from defensive coordinator Alex Grinch are what the Sooners are looking for. The term Speed D was coined the first season Grinch took over in 2019. 3 years later, the question is still, where is this Speed D?
We're extremely confident that one, it's fixable, and two, we'll get it fixed.
Especially with the high-powered offense that we have and knowing what they're capable of, you want to get the ball in their hands as much as possible with us getting stops, not by letting the opposing team score.
Time is running out as OU heads into Week 9 against Texas Tech. On the other side of that is a bye week followed by Baylor, Iowa State, and Oklahoma State. Parker, they certainly have no room for a worse performance. For now, Caroline Grace, OU Nightly.
Thank you, Caroline. You are right about that one. Game 1 of the World Series is tonight as the Atlanta Braves are on the road to take on the Houston Astros. The Astros look to win their second World Series in the last 5 years, defeating the Dodgers back in 2017, while the Braves are making their first World Series appearance since 1999. And 37 years ago today, the man, the myth, the legend, Michael Jordan made his NBA debut. In the game, Jordan put up 16 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds, and 40 minutes on the court. This was a start to a historic career for Jordan as he went on to win 6 NBA championships, 6 finals MVPs, 5 regular season MVPs, and was awarded the official title of the GOAT. And being we're just talking about the GOAT of basketball, I'll toss it back to the GOATs at the desk. Kayla and Kayleigh, back to you.
Thanks, Parker, and happy birthday! But speaking of horned animals like goats, unicorns do exist.
We'll show you how some horses are getting into the spooky spirit when we return.
Hello, I'm Allison England at the OU Nightly Update Desk. A civil rights pioneer is seeking to clear her record. Claudette Colvin was arrested in March 1955 for refusing to give her seat up to a white person on a bus. Today, Colvin's legal team filed a request to get her record expunged at Montgomery County Court in Alabama. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Allison. Kayla, have you picked out your Halloween costume yet?
Well, I have, but it's not quite as festive as these horses in South Dakota.
Trading saddles for costumes, the Suncatcher Therapeutic Riding Academy dresses up their horses for a little friendly competition.
Along with their horses competing for best dressed, the Academy assists riders with disabilities. And let's take one last check on that weather.
Mikayla Smith is tracking severe storms headed our way. Mikayla?
Yeah, so in my hand, I'm actually holding a weather radio. So while phones are a great way to get weather alerts, it also is good to have a secondary way, and a weather radio is the perfect opportunity. You can go to your local Walmart and grab one of these today. They're $30. All you have to do is make sure that they're plugged in before you head to bed tonight. Make sure that the time setting is correct and that you're in the right county. So if you were to get a tornado warning or a severe thunderstorm warning, this little guy would go off and then it would wake you up and alert you to the fact that you're in an area. But talking about that severe weather chances we have, so we can see we're in that enhanced risk for Oklahoma City and Norman out to the west. So again, this is a 3 out of 5 risk. Our main threats we're going to see with these storms here in the city is going to be some large damaging hail and some strong winds. But out west, we are worrying about the chance of having a tornado. These storms are going to fire up along a dry line, and they could become supercells as they work their way before they turn into a line here in the city. But after these storms move through, we're going to have sunshine. Look at those temperatures back in the 60s. And then I want to point out Tuesday, we're going to be in the 60s, but that's going to be in the morning. So next week, we're going to have a really strong cold front come through. So we're going to want to be prepared for that, and we'll keep you updated here on OU Nightly. Ladies?
Thanks, Mikayla, and thank you for watching OU Nightly, brought to you by the Gaylord College of Journalism and Mass Communication on the campus of the University of Oklahoma.
We'll be right here tomorrow live at 4:30. Good night and stay safe.